Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Why does recovery failure drive aging and disease? That's our topic today. Red O'Loughlin here. We're on Talking Heads on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. And we think about recovery. Our bodies repair and recover all the time. And if you allow enough time overnight, your body repairs itself. But the recovery is something that's ongoing, and that's what we're going to talk about. And it really does affect our health. So let me get my slides lined up here and ready to go. We're live streaming today. Yes, there are some podcasts that happen down the road, but yeah, we're just live TV. So live streaming on Amazon Fire, E360 TV, YouTube. I have it in red to remind me that if you're watching this show on YouTube, please become a subscriber to the USA Global TV and Radio Network. We very much appreciate it. We have lots and lots of shows there. Android TV, social media, and more. I'm simulcasting it on 2 of my Facebook channels. My shows are for awareness and education. RedO'Loughlin.com is my website. You can find just about anything you need to know about social media, books, videos, literally almost anything. So Red O'Loughlin, R-E-D, I like the color. O'Loughlin, O-L-A. UGHLIN, RedO'Loughlin.com. Why does recovery failure drive aging? Well, I just mentioned we're on YouTube. So if you go to USA Global TV and Radio on YouTube, you can see anything live that we're doing right now. Archives are there, just about any show you ever want to watch. So again, please subscribe. I've been involved with root cause analysis for over a couple decades. I go down into, why did that happen? Okay, fine. If that happened, why did that happen? And so as I'm looking at what's going on in the human body, I go down and I say, okay, this particular enzyme was released. Well, do I need more of it, or can I inhibit it, or what happens when you do whatever? So for me, I try to find out why things happen. If you know the why and it's deep enough, you can generally fix a problem. You have the root cause. I look at it from a cellular level in the body, biologically, chemically speaking. So I focus on not only what helps, but what, if you do this, what makes it worse? I consider myself a translator of complexity, especially when you're looking at the human body. I've been involved with longevity and health-related, age-related stuff for quite a while. So again, my information today is for educational purposes only. About 10 years ago, I wrote a book called Longevity Secrets for Healthy Aging. I'm updating that book. That actually is a major update, and the book's called Aging Sucks, and it'll be out this summer. Disclaimer: all of my shows, Talking Head shows, are my own opinion. Does not constitute medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Anything that I reference is strictly in a research context. So if I say something that piques your interest, you have Google, you have a lot of things. Look it up. But don't take action until you talk to a qualified medical professional, especially if you're already under treatment for something, taking a prescription med or some other treatment. I mentioned a moment ago my next book out, Aging Sucks. I expect to release it this summer. I'm also going to have a webinar series that goes with it. I'm taking it from the 30,000 foot level that the book will be talking about right down through 5,000 feet, right down to ground zero. So these are the things that we can do right now, today, to make things change in your life. That's going to be my webinar series, talking about aging, health, disease, different organs, our heart, brain, even talking about a series on pain. Aging doesn't have to suck. Most of us believe it does. But part of our aging process involves repair and recovery. And that's our primary focus today. Recovery is an active biological process that goes on all the time. What do we know? Recovery. Okay. When a recovery, repair is greater than the damage done, in other words, I have capability of fixing it right now or over the next hour or two, whatever it takes. I generally have a pretty healthy life because whatever happens to me, cellular level, 24/7, 365, whatever damage is caused by free radicals, inflammation, oxidative stress, all of those things, my body has the capability through the immune system or other options that I have with food and stuff that I can recover, repair. We also know that at some point in time, I get old enough, things are not going to work like they used to. And I'm going to have a damage process that exceeds my ability to repair it. And so now, instead of repairing everything, I now have these things are damaged and they're starting to build up and accumulate. And that's when you start seeing some rapid aging. Damage occurs all the time, never stops. It occurs right there, cellular level on the body. And the problem is, even if you have the tools to go down and see where this damage is being done and you're starting to, say, grow a tumor, it takes forever and ever and ever and longer for that tumor to get large enough for some instrument to detect it. And then you don't even know you have it, so why would you even test for it? And so finally it gets big enough that it's starting to impair something. And that's when people find out, oh, you have a tumor the size of a baseball and you have 6 months to live. Well, that's not what we want. But these things happen and we're not paying attention to what's going on. So every 24 hours we eat, that adds stress. We get stressed, if there's, anybody we run into, what we see on TV, what we hear, whether it's too hot, too cold, rainy, snowy, it doesn't matter. We get stressed all the time. Deadlines. We absorb damage, and that damage occurs. We have a built-in repair mechanism in our body. Once that repair starts, our recovery begins. Our adaptation begins and occurs. So the stresses occur all the time, 24/7, 365. So as these stresses occur, our bodies deal with it. So we eat, we get a metabolic stress. We think, we live, we get mental stress. If I'm not getting the quality of sleep and the time that I need to sleep, my body repairs itself when I'm in deep sleep. If I don't get into deep sleep, repairs don't happen. Repairs don't happen. And that becomes a problem. Oh, let's say I have eating mistakes. I overeat. I eat too much chocolate, too much ice cream. I don't eat any greens. Lots of things. Just from eating, I can have mistakes that go on. And if it only happens once on my birthday or a Christmas dinner, any one day, any one meal, generally not a problem. It's the habit that happens. Bet you can't eat just one. It's a great commercial because our food industry makes things so delectable, so luscious, so unctuous that we don't want to eat just one. You tell yourself, I'm not going to have that second cookie. Subconscious mind doesn't understand negatives. It hears, I'm going to have a second cookie because it doesn't understand not. So you have that first cookie and the second cookie and third cookie. We make mistakes when we eat all the time. Failure begins. And it's just not with the diet, because sometimes the foods we have toxins in them. Sometimes we choose not to exercise. Our environment that we live in all impact our health, our aging, our risk of disease. So we're battling, damage from all different fronts. You pick up your phone and I'm sitting here, I'm talking to somebody, I have radiation damage. I have blue light damage. I have damage occurring. Now, our bodies are pretty resilient. They can take care of themselves. But when you start having a habit that overdoes things, going out to gamble on a weekend at a resort, okay, that's fine. You're there weekend, boom, win some money, lose some money. But if the gambling becomes a habit, it becomes a detriment to our life. And that's what happens here when we start having bad habits with our eating and other things. So if I'm overeating, I don't allow my body to go through a process called autophagy. Autophagy is a simple cleanup and recycle process that goes through our bodies. There's a couple ways of generating it. The To me, the easiest is fasting. But let's say you go out and you run a quarter mile, a pretty good clip. That was pretty high intensity exercise. You go lift some weights. Okay, that intense exercise actually creates autophagy, but the autophagy is really for the muscles and the heart, not necessarily for the whole body. But when you want autophagy for the whole body, that really requires fasting. At least 18 hours, it starts. You turn on the light switch. You're at zero, go down 1%. About 72 hours, now you're at 100% autophagy. And your body is cleaning out the cells, getting rid of all the trash, taking out all the things that don't work, recycling things, giving you a brand new, clean, healthy cell. Your immune system is rebuilt. Everything happens. It's amazing what goes on. 1976, banner year. That's when we came out with called ultra processed foods. And if you go around the world and you start looking, 1975, what were things like? 1980, a couple years into this ultra processed food, all of a sudden we start having a major increase in extra pounds being stored, obesity. It's amazing. There's a line in the sand, 1976. And it's all of these things, the way the foods are prepared. It increases inflammation in our body and low-level cellular inflammation, 24/7, chronic. It's there all the time. Our bodies can't adjust to it. Immune system is not good. We're not eating the right kinds of foods with antioxidants. Anyway, when I start having that chronic, low-level cellular inflammation, it's essentially the genesis of almost every disease we know. If I choose, let's say I mentioned a minute ago, don't eat greens. Okay, I have a nutrient deficiency. Now, when I need a particular, say, magnesium or calcium or sodium or whatever, I don't have the molecule I need. And now that limits what I can repair because I need, like most repairs need sulfur. If you're not eating something with sulfur in it, those things aren't getting repaired. And so you limit your repair operations and you also limit the priorities. If I have to repair this or that, the body's going to make the best decision. So your diet, your food, the choices you eat doesn't just cause damage. It also determines how well you're going to recover from the damage that's happening. So if I choose the right kind of food, I'm going to recover pretty well. If I choose the wrong kinds of food, probably not. If I choose the wrong time of the day, let's say I'm eating my really big meal 9 o'clock at night and I'm going to have a bottle or two of wine, you're shutting down the repair mechanisms. Lots of ways we sabotage ourselves, but we don't know it. That's why this show and others are out there. So sleep is super critical because repairs occur when we're in our deep sleep. So you go to sleep and you generally have about a 90-minute sleep cycle. You go through that, and part of that's the REM and non-REM, and it just bum, 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 and I'm in deep sleep. Now my body gets into that repair mechanism. But let's say you did have a late meal. Let's say you had a bottle or let's just say a couple of glasses of wine. Well, now what happens is your body wants to digest, but the wine says, "Oh, I'm not doing anything." All digestion's put on hold until you process all the alcohol out of your system. So now the liver is working to get that alcohol processed. You go to bed and the alcohol is not out, so you fall asleep because you feel pretty good. And now all of a sudden you wake up sometime in the middle of the night, you're wide awake. What happened? I didn't hear anything, didn't see it. Well, your body is transitioning from the alcohol being processed out to now the digestive system starting to kick in. So now you're starting to digest food at 3 o'clock in the morning that should have been done hours before, and that's starting to disrupt things. So the quality of your sleep is being affected. So, but if you can get a good deep sleep every night, the repairs are there, recovery's there. At night, your brain clears waste. Just as anything else that happens, things occur at night. You go into that REM and non-REM state, and all of the trash and stuff starts getting cleared out. Our hormones are reset. The cells are repaired. So those are the things that happen because sleep is programmed into our 24-hour cycle. You disrupt that cycle, our health declines, our aging, the way we look, the way we feel, the way we act, all starts adding up quickly. We have an adaptive stress response to exercise. Let's say I exercise, it's going to cause damage, yes. But that exercise triggers the repair mechanisms to make those things. Let's say I go out there and I'm lifting weights and I want to get bigger muscles in my bicep. Okay, I quit I stop exercising today. I go home tomorrow. My muscles are sore. That's the damage. But the body has already triggered the repair mechanisms. So when it starts doing the repair, you're recovering. Now your muscles over, let's say, 30-day period, they're going to start acting such that I don't have the pain associated with lifting the weights as badly as I did the first couple of days. So the repairs are there, the recovery is there, my strength is increasing. Now, same thing if you go out and run. Let's say you run a mile in 15 minutes, then you can run in 12 minutes, and you can run in 11. Our strength, our endurance, all those things improve because of the exercise we're doing. It's the way we grow. But when we don't do things, let's say that I wake up and I sit on the couch and I watch TV. I get up and I make myself a really nice lunch, but it doesn't have anything in it of nutrient value, but it tastes good. And I go back and I sit down again. I get up and I fix myself a snack. I go back and sit down again. I get up and fix myself something for dinner, or somebody comes home, we go out and have a big dinner. You have to allow a certain time for things to transpire. But if I don't have that recovery, I'm not getting the maintenance I need. I'm not getting the improvement I'm expecting. And overall, I'm declining. That becomes an issue. And especially as you're getting older, you start having those little wing things under your arms. You get a little turkey neck. Lots of things are happening when you get older. And it's basically a silent killer we don't even know about because our body's never fully reset. So I have this constant free radical damage that's occurring all the time, and as it becomes a chronic inflammation. Notice I have acute inflammation. That happens and I can deal with it. But if it's chronic, I can't control it. It's there all the time. Now I start having a problem because that chronic leads to called oxidative stress. And when you start getting to that level of stress at the cellular level, that's when we start having DNA mutations and tumor and organs that start having efficiency or production issues. So it leads to DNA damage that cannot be repaired. And now you're starting down a very long, slippery slope. It may be decades in some cases. Take something simple like you get a really bad sunburn as a teenager. You get another one or two. And then you're in your 20s, you get another one or two. But those things may not show up for 40 years. And they show up as a actinic keratosis, as a squamous cell carcinoma. Heaven forbid, one of my brothers, we lived in Panama. He was a toddler, 2-3 years age. He was basically a big freckle. I mean, he just a tan all over. But as a redhead, you don't do that. That's not the right. But 40 years later, he has a melanoma on the back of his neck. He's fine, got it taken care of. But these things sometimes take forever and ever and ever to happen. So our hormonal imbalance becomes more frequent. In other words, now we're really kind of walking a tightrope. Food's not supplying the materials we need to keep everything in balance. I don't have enough of this. Maybe I have way too much cortisol, but not enough of some of these other hormones that I need. Sex hormones get out of whack. A lot of issues there. Now we start getting down to the cellular level. There's a thing called cellular dysfunction. That's when the cells don't work the way they're supposed to. And that starts progressing incrementally at first because it's starting to spread. It's like having a leak and all of a sudden the water starts appearing on the floor. Let's say you're in the bathroom, the toilet starts to leak. Okay, you may not notice it because it's maybe the size of a quarter. A couple of days later, maybe the size of a $50. So the leak is starting to occur, and this thing progresses incrementally throughout our body. And the protections we got early in life, the things that took care of us, we didn't care whether we ate. I'll tell you right now, when I was a teenager, I would have 2 triple meat, triple cheese Whataburger sandwiches and probably a quart of root beer, literally every day. That was my norm. And we're talking, 3/4 pound of meat on two different hamburger, 2 different buns, and gobble it up. But back then, skinny as a rail, could eat anything, didn't matter. The only thing I worried about as I started learning was, well, what about your cholesterol? Well, I have one of these genetic things that for most of my life, for decades, my cholesterol, total cholesterol, rarely went much over 100, 104, maybe at most 114. And I started asking doctors. I'm the Navy and flying. in flight physical. And, how low is too low? And nobody knew. Well, I eventually found out that when it gets below 90, now they start worrying. But I was living on that edge of very low cholesterol, even though I was eating, a pound and a half of hamburger every day, literally. But the protections we get from our early life are not as effective when we get older. We produce less and less of many, many things. Some things we can augment, like human growth hormone. In your 70s, you're making 10% of what you used to make as a toddler, but you needed it as a toddler. You don't necessarily need it so much as a 70-year-old. But it's a chemical our bodies need, and unless that hormone has a reason for being there. But if you decide to fast, I go on a 24-hour fast, my human growth hormone goes up. If I exercise a certain way, human growth hormone goes up. So we have ways of increasing certain things, but if you don't know what to do, you don't even know what's going on. That's the first problem. So let's cure the awareness issue. Then you start saying, okay, well, how do I do this? How can I inhibit that? How can I speed this up? Structurally, we have problems that as we age, elastin, our collagen, these are the things that allow us to do all sorts of things. But I get in my 70s compared to my 20s, I have 70% less collagen than then. Hyaluronic acid, I need that in all my cells. But again, I have half of what I had before. Human growth hormone decreases significantly. I mean, probably 70, 80% by the time you're 70 or 80. Sex hormone, same thing. You're really at the bottom end of things. Melatonin, that's the one that helps us sleep. That drives our levels and interrupts our quality of sleep. So the things that we depended on when we were younger aren't there to support us as we're getting older. We're still making them, just not as much, which is why I think, and again, as I've mentioned this on other shows, I think the ability to get peptides, they're synthetic, but they're identical, exactly what we have in our body. But they are, I think that's going to be the savior for our medical thing 20 years down the road. The other thing I think is you're going to have a lot of your vaccines, if they still have them then, is going to be through a nasal spray, not through an insulin injection into the arm. Two things that I'm thinking are going to happen way down the road. So our ability to produce antioxidants and to produce lubricants that we need in our bodies, in our joints and everything, fail. They are not there. Our ability to digest, 75% of our stomach acid disappears over a 50-year period from your 20s. Our cells and their stem cells start, a cell has a certain age. Stem cells have a certain age. If they're not replenished, then they're not there. So you get to 75 years of age, and there's just a lot of things your body is not doing to support you. It can, but you don't know what to do, and that's what we're here for. Every cell in the body needs CoQ10. If you're on a statin drug shuts down our body's production of CoQ10. That's not a healthy place to be, but our body needs that CoQ10. It's just one of those things that gets down to the mitochondrial level and the energy levels in our body. So everything begins to work against you. Your mind may be sharp. Our mind's matured about 25, and so we keep that same mind. And whether you're 75 or not, you still have a 25-year-old mind because that's what our brain kind of stays at. But sometimes we don't get things. Say I don't have autophagy, and my cells are starting to pile up. I get trash and all sorts of stuff. Now I have a problem because the cells can't operate as at the same operational peak performance they did when I was 20. So I have my cleanup operation, my recycling, my repairs, my restoration, my recovery, my adaptation. They all begin to offer little or no support because I don't have the ability physically, biologically, chemically to make it happen. Yeah, 10, 20, 30%, but not 100%. So when our ability to repair itself begins to fall, mitochondrial dysfunction, again, a hallmark of aging, increases. That affects our energy, which starts to fall. Cellular senescence, that's when our cells are programmed to die. They don't. They become zombie cells and increases inflammation, and it accumulates in our body. Genetic instability, same thing. Our genes are not passing on the messages they need to pass on. DNA damage happens. We can't fix it. Proteostasis, our cellular information or disinformation, misinformation, starts going up because we are not able to stabilize, particularly in that one with proteins that are folding and can't do the job that they were doing when they were unfolded. When we were younger, we bounced back pretty fast. I mean, from just about anything. It didn't matter what it was. We had a cold, a week later gone. You get a cold when you're 55 years of age. Yeah, it may hang around 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Just can't quite get there. I went on a cruise here recently, came down with influenza A, never had the flu in my life. Bad couple of weeks. And I've had this cough that goes on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. And just won't leave me. Some days I may be able to cough 2 or 3 times, but it tells me there's still something there. Our body's resilience leads to a faster recovery, but if I don't have the resilience, I can't make the repairs that are needed. So our repair capability to fix damage used to be fairly quick. It slows down. Our daily rhythms were stable. They become unstable. Everything was integrated seamlessly. It worked. It was just one of those things, magic is what I call it. But no, that's the way our bodies were designed. But as you start making less human growth hormone, overdoing cortisol, less of this, overdoing insulin, our bodies don't adjust, adapt, and integrate as well as they used to. So great health leads the way for efficient recovery. So you keep yourself healthy, eat the right kinds of food, exercise, take care of stress, sleep well. You're going to find those simple lifestyle choices are all the things that literally affect every hallmark of aging, every hallmark of health, and literally every pathway of disease, because the pathways all start the same. It's not till they get to your kidneys or your lungs or your brain, your heart, that you start having a unique disease. But the disease progression from the cells to until it gets to the organ is pretty much the same. The lifestyle choices we have, that's what we do every day. I choose to eat, not eat too much, eat too many times, eat late at night, drink, not drink the wrong stuff, drink too much. These are choices we make every day. Exercise, not exercise. When's the last time you actively did some kind of stress management? Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But all of these things affect how your health is going to be down the road, how your aging is going to progress, and the risk of whatever disease might be in your future. So disease and aging, they don't occur overnight. It takes a while. So it's interesting. Didn't know that flopped on me. So disease and aging recovery is incomplete. Chronic inflammation is unchecked. Insulin resistance increases. Endothelial dysfunction spreads. All of these things are part of that aging process at the cellular level of the body. So our disease, our aging builds daily from missed recovery. So let's say that I decide to go on vacation, and I'm just going to pig out because I'm going to France or Italy or someplace. Italy, that's a good place. I've been there. And you have your pasta, and you have your wine, and you have your bread, and you out partying. Okay, yeah, we can tolerate a few days of that. We can tolerate maybe in a week or more. But if you don't come back and get back into a routine, now all of a sudden you have a habit forming. Okay, yeah, I need this, and so we're sabotaging ourselves because we're not allowing our bodies the right nutrition, the right time to repair itself. And if it's not repairing itself, we're not recovering. If we're not recovering, that failure drives our aging processes and increases our risk of disease. So it's one of those things we never think about. Recovery, what about it? We just don't think about it, but it's super critical. And so I wrote an article yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, I'm sure I'll publish it yet because I've been writing a lot of them, that the time of the day you eat is almost as critical as what you eat. And okay, well, that's interesting. I didn't know that. And it went on to explain why. Okay, well, now I understand. So I indulge after dark. Shouldn't, but I do. It's one of those habits that I need to change for myself. Okay. So what are some of the early warning signs that your recovery is not adequate? Well, fatigue that doesn't end. I need more rest with the same amount of effort that I used to do. My brain fog is my daily friend. My tolerance to exercise disappears. These things may be hit and miss, but if you start seeing them occur more and more, okay, what's that guy's name? Where did I leave the keys? What do I have tonight? You know, your brain fog is there. I go out and I do something in the yard. Okay, I got to sit down and rest. Okay, well, maybe that's required because your body, listen to your clues. The body tells you things. So, but when these things start occurring all the time, that may be a recovery failure that is becoming I'm not going to say epidemic in your body, but it's at a level you need to pay attention to. What can you do to counter? Lifestyle choices. You know, your sleep, the time you sleep, the quality of your sleep, the nutrition that you get, the quality and completeness. Wahls protocol I've talked about many, many times. You know, literally has matched 30 nutrients our body needs every day. And it's amazing what happens the minute your body gets everything it needs. Managing your stress, exercising smartly. Every single one of those lifestyle choices, diet, exercise, stress, and sleep, affect the hallmarks of aging, as well as they affect the hallmarks of health, and they affect the pathways of disease. So if I'm having a recovery failure, it's because I'm not taking care of those decisions I make every day. And some of us get a little bit older and we start getting confused about many things. That's not an unusual thing. It's just part of life. But our brains are still at that, 25-year age, but our bodies aren't. And so I mentioned it, they don't work the way they used to. I've said it many times on my shows. Happy mitochondria, happy life, long life. Make your mitochondria healthy. I think I'm probably going to have a show on that here shortly. We can't stop the aging process, but we can slow it down. So I want to make my mitochondria as happy as possible. I want them fully functional. I want them operational. How do I do that? Exercise. Okay. High intensity interval training. Well, a 75-year-old probably not going to do that. But cardio, yeah, maybe a little bit. Strength training, yeah, a little bit. Just not what you did 40 years ago. Optimized nutrition, yeah, 75-year-old can easily do that. Can I reduce my sugar and my carbs? Absolutely, no problem with that. 75-year-old can do that. Hormetic stress, that's that incremental stress. It's not a major shift in something. Yeah, I fast for 20 hours, okay, fine. That's a hormetic stress. I fast for 72 hours, that's a hormetic stress. I fast for 11 days, that's a major impact on my body. Not that you can't do it, it's just something you don't want to be doing all the time. Cold immersion, exposure to cold, exposure to hot. Again, these are little hormetic stresses that your body can actually benefit from. Morning sunlight, lots of things there, particularly that low frequency infrared light that provides amazing health benefits in the body. Supplements, I want to make my mitochondria happy. N-acetylcysteine, pyrroloquinolinone, what's the ubiquinol, this CoQ10. All of these things, I mean, just you have Google, Dr. Google, tell me what can I do to help what supplements can I take for my mitochondria? Boom, 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 boom. It's going to tell you. I have some things there on the slide, but take some initiative, go out and look things up. Disease, aging, poor health doesn't happen. It's something that we accumulate because of bad habits over time. That damage accumulates, and if we don't repair it and recover from it, it's going to be a factor in our life. So if recovery is optional for you, you just want to age earlier. It may be optional if you don't care about the risk of disease. And it's definitely optional if you really don't care about your health. So recovery failure drives aging, it drives poor health, and it drives disease. Today we're talking about awareness leads to education, leads to action. Don't take awareness and just jump into action. Educate yourself a little bit, learn a little bit more. And before you take action, if you're on no meds and things are getting pretty healthy, okay. But if you're on something, no telling what counter effects might be there. Talk to your pharmacist, talk to your doctor. Let him or her know exactly what you plan on doing and have them tell you, okay, we'll monitor you for 3 months, see what happens. That's a standard answer I get from my doctors every time. So this is what I want to do. I just had a long talk with my cardiologist about something I want to do. Okay, we'll track it for 3 months. Most of them are willing to do things if you have a legitimate reason for doing it. So make sure you talk to them and schedule some health routine. If you're only having a physical once every 10 years, maybe that's a clue that your health is no longer a major factor in your life. Because I have not, my last time 1968, I had a flight physical, and I have not missed a flight. I haven't missed a physical since 1968. And it's just I had 31 of them, 31 years worth of physicals with the military, flight physicals. And I got out of the military, and I just keep my physicals going every year. Thank you for joining me today. I invite you again to subscribe to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV and Radio Network, and also Dr. Jacqueline Corbett. Surprise, both of those have our archive shows on them. And if you want more now, The Art of Ageless Health is one of the books that I have. It's on my website. It's available on Amazon. Longevity Secrets of Healthy Aging is also available on Amazon. Both are very, very good books on what can you do every day to help improve your longevity. Aging Sucks is my next book coming out. It's due out this summer. It's going to be based on the hallmarks of aging, hallmarks of health, and the pathways of disease. These are the things that we have the ability, through the decisions we make, the actions we take every single day. I'm posting a lot of stuff daily on my social media locations, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram are my primary ones. A lot of good information out there. And I have a series of webinars happening right as soon as my book is published. So I'm going to leave you with that. Next week, we will rejoin again, and I look forward to it. And please take care, enjoy, have fun. Bye now.
In a noisy world, true connection begins with listening. Elevated listening transforms every conversation in just 5 simple steps. Pause and breathe. Set your intention. Listen with curiosity. Reflect back. Agree on one next step. Join the Listening Mentor on Let's Finally Talk with Dr. Jacqueline Corbett, the Listening Mentor, where we help you find inner peace, one conversation at a time. Streaming every day, Let's Finally Talk TV show with Dr. Jacqueline Corbett, only here on USA Global TV and Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channels to watch and engage with all our content.
Meet Lady Ella, a special ladybug who is trained by Grand Beetle on how to listen at an elevated level. After earning her gold wings, Mother Earth and Father Universe asked her to travel across the solar system, teaching life lessons to creatures to respect one another and to listen. Learn more about her travels in the book series, The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella. The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor. Lady Ella's ABCs of Listening. Lady Ella has afternoon tea in London. The ocean calls and Lady Ella listens. Lady Ella listens in the Baobab National Game Park. Lady Ella's space adventure across the universe. The magical adventures of Lady Ella and her super-powered friends. There are also collections of colouring books for parents and kids. Providing world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Join our team of elevated listeners to teach children elevated listening skills. Lady Ella would like to teach you and your family how to listen at an elevated level. If you're interested in learning life lessons as well as how to communicate more effectively as a family, go to Amazon and order Lady Ella's books. They're all there just waiting for you.
In a world full of noise, misunderstandings, and interruptions, master the art of listening with Dr. Jacqueline Corbett. Dr. Jacqueline Corbett is the listening mentor of USA Global TV and Radio and the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. Elevate your listening. Elevate your life. Join a global learning experience in person or via Zoom. Reserve your spot today. usaglobaltv.com/book-your-session or drjacqueline.thinkific.com. Join Dr. Kerbeck's listening courses or hire her to unlock deeper connections and authentic conversations. Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.